All right, let's get rolling here. All workshop Township Council meetings will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on the Township Devotions Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Let's have a roll call, please.
Mayor Napoltani?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Donlin?
Here.
Councilmember Achara?
Here.
Fisher?
Here.
Terry?
Here.
Notice requirements for the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 8, 2022. David is going to be a few minutes late, so we're going to start off with Greg Blash, our township engineer.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, Greg.
Okay. Number one on the list, paving at Joe Playa Park Phase 3, we got pre-construction, that's been awarded. Pre-construction meeting set up for next Thursday, so we'll get him going. He'll probably be doing the work in July through August, in that time frame. Next item, speed bumps, if you haven't heard, have been installed. Mostly positive, couple negative comments. Next item is the strike.
Sorry, I don't know, I had a request for a speed bump. Oh, maybe we'll wait till you're done and then we'll go around, right? That's how it's normally done. I'll wait. You're talking about speed bumps, so.
Next item was striping. That was not part of the budget, that wasn't funded, so what I'm gonna do is take the money that I need to do the striping out of the road program funding, since it's technically on the road, but, so we'll get that going probably next council meeting. That'll be on for the authorization to go out to bid. Then I can start working on that. Next one, Whale Pond Sidewalk Crossing, the first one, those have been submitted to DEP for permitting. DEP is very slow right now. They've told us that it'll be several weeks before they even get the review permit. So then we're just waiting. That should be by midsummer, so that'll probably be installed sometime before the end of summer. The second crossing, that was not put in the budget, so we'll have to talk. One thing I would suggest is maybe what we can do is we'll go for the permit now, because it's the lower part of the funding. That permit would be good for 5 years, and maybe we can get money budgeted for next year to do that installation on that northern crossing. We can talk about that in the months to come. Next thing is the 1001 Wickapecka. We had a pre-construction meeting. Contractors filed for a demo permit, and we're in the process of reviewing the shop drawings. So he's doing pretty good. The two other items on that associated with that is we're gonna have a request authorization to bid for the new roof that we need and the parking lot renovations. So that'll come in next month, so we can get going on that. Next thing on the agenda, my list is South Edgemere Bulkhead. The repairs to the road are scheduled. That's on your change order tonight for authorization of your approval. One of the change orders, South Edgemere, is included in one of my road programs. I believe it is in the 2020. Yeah, it's in the 2020 as an extra, because we have some extra money there. We always targeted to do that. I just needed the JCP to be done. So once we get this, contractors already on board, we're gonna try to get that done before the end of June.
So just for the record, the change order is a decrease.
Yes. Yeah,
They
one is
both
a
are.
decrease of about $50,000, the other decrease is about $41. The reason for the 41 is I gave a certain amount of money back to do some extra jobs. There's still a little money left in there because there's some other things I have to do with sinkholes that are popping up here and there. So we're gonna save some money on that contract to hold out a little bit.
So it's not really a change order, you're just taking the money out.
Well, it is, it's a change order because we're eliminating things we're not gonna do anymore and adding things we're gonna do. So it's a kind of a negative change order because we're
I
just
see,
replacing.
okay, all I'm seeing, okay.
Yeah.
Add, delete,
Italy, correct.
got it, sorry. I'm just seeing the decrease, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
the one we're decreasing because that contract's coming to an end, and I'm giving Ricky the money back so we can pay for some other things.
Got it.
Okay, pond dredging, we're working on the permits for that. We're moving along pretty good. We should be submitting those permits to DEP probably within the next month. 1515 Logan, that one we've been chasing the DEP. They said it's about another 2 weeks before they get to review that permit.
They have to review the permit based on what we want to cut this.
No, the wetlands, just the wetlands.
Just the wetlands.
Yeah. And we're pretty confident it's gonna get approved. It's just they gotta review it and approve it. And it's been in there for 2 months.
So once they approve, then we will go to demo the building and we will go out to bid?
No, probably go out to bid and
Out to
demo
bid
the
first, then
building
we'll
after
demo.
we get the bids.
Okay.
Once we're sure somebody's buying it, then we'll demo the building.
Okay, fine.
And the reason for that is there's changes in the law with respect to stormwater. If you knock something down, it isn't there anymore, you can't take credit for it. So I don't wanna knock that.
No,
down
I'm
to
fine with it.
something. Yeah.
I'm fine. I think that's a much better idea.
Yeah.
I can include the demo in the bid?
No, because we would rather, because the problem is a lot of the guys that we feel are gonna bid on this aren't qualified or big enough to do a demo. And instead of them having to hire like a Lurch to do it and adding 15% on and reducing the bids, it's cheaper for us to do the demo because we do all the internal permitting.
Okay.
So it's easy for us to get the permits and and we'll get Lurch to do it for us.
Okay.
Okay, the next item was Bimber traffic study is the same, we're waiting for the county to do their study, and as I mentioned last time, they're in the running for a federal grant, which they're pretty certain they may get, and that's to reconstruct the whole length of Asbury Avenue through Neptune down into Asbury. So that's gonna change a lot of this, and that traffic study will kind of go along with this, and probably that light intersection would go along with that improvement. That's the positive. The negative is it's gonna take a lot longer to get it done.
So they're doing a study to redo, how far up, right up to the circle?
Asbury Avenue, I'm pretty sure it's from the circle all the way down to the boardwalk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's been talking
So
about
here's the
that.
question, when are they gonna do the study? They're gonna do it in the fall, the winter, or now when it's insane?
Well, they're going for the funding,
Yeah,
and the funding, I think, is supposed to be awarded this fall.
yeah,
And then I don't know when they're gonna, I'm sure it'll be a summer type.
yeah, because that's what they gotta do. It's almost misleading to have a traffic study in December, you know,
Yeah.
at that area.
Yeah. And because it's gonna mostly be pedestrian orientated, so
Yeah.
they would have to do that in the summertime.
Yeah.
Okay, the next two items are related to the stormwater ordinances, and we talked about that before we put them off after the election, so what I've done is I'd like to meet with Margie next week,
Sounds good.
and then we could talk about the changes. One is that report I have to do about the changes that we're gonna recommend or not recommend doing for the grant that we got, and the other part of it is the recommendation that we're gonna go to the planning board with the coverages that we recommend
Okay.
from the council's point of view. So we'll kind of work that out, and I'll bring it back probably, I don't know if I'll have it ready for the second meeting this month, but certainly by the July meeting. And we'll kind of introduce it to the whole council, and then we'll send it off to the planning board.
Okay.
Okay, the next item, Poplar Road crosswalks. The crosswalks are physically constructed. They are gonna be paint striped next Tuesday with signs up, so they're just about done.
That's cool. Yeah, so I'll do that work.
It's funny now that we did it, then nobody calls and says thank you.
Of course.
Well, I'll say thank you.
Yeah. Now, there's a lady that doesn't even live anywhere near it, all the way around David Court.
Yeah.
It's about like a half a mile away from it, she's doing the only one complaining about, not putting them in.
Has she called to say thank you?
No, not
Not
at
yet.
all.
Maybe she walks her dog in the condos over there.
Yeah, well, no, I felt bad for her, because she started out, she was screaming at me, very negative. And then it got to the point where she was being kind of apologetic, she was screaming at me, and then suddenly she was crying because someone ran her over and gave her the finger when she drove by her, so I was kind of
There you
like,
go.
I apologize for that, we'll get them in as soon as we can.
No.
But they're in now, so that should solve our problem there. All right, I'm gonna go back to JCP and try to get the lighting increased at both of those crossings, just so they're more visible.
Okay.
So we'll get some LED lights put in. Next one, South Lincoln Monmouth Crosswalk. That is still scheduled for July, August, county looking at that from a traffic point of view.
Yep.
Next one, 2020 road program, there's a change order on, that we talked about already, a change order doing the, switches, apples for oranges. It's just, that's the South Edgemere and the curbing on Bryant Court. Those are the two things in that change order. 2021 road program, there's also a change order on that. We're deleting some quantities, we have some extra money, so we're gonna add the road improvements to Dennis and Doreen, which are the two crosswalks that lead to the park, right in there by the library, they're 2 streets away from the entrance to the museum and the library there, on the other side of the road. So we got enough money, we're gonna do those two, because they're kind of in rough shape.
Okay.
You talking about those pavers that,
No, we're gonna redo the roads,
okay,
the little short roads.
Okay.
They're all like about 250 feet long.
gotcha.
2022 program, we started work at the Poplar Crosswalks. He's currently doing work on Roselle. Then he's going to do the work on the sidewalk on Wickapecco. And then he's going, I forget what road he's going to after that, but then he's gonna start getting into the roads. But it's gonna be about another 2 weeks before he gets done with finishing Roselle. We did have a little bit of fun with a couple of guys. There was one guy that we actually, when we started the project, he didn't want us to cut down 5 large trees that were in the right of way. So we left him, we were gonna go around and he was gonna give us an easement. He sold his house, guy bought it, a guy moved in yesterday, and he was nice enough to put that guy in touch with us. That gentleman said, I don't want the trees, I'm not giving you an easement close to my house, cut the trees down. So I said, well, would you mind if we gave you some trees to plant back behind the sidewalk? He said, call me in the fall when you wanna plant them and we'll talk about it. So hopefully we can get a couple planted back in there. But so that kind of worked out nicely because we did really want an easement across his front yard. There's another guy that has a privet hedge there at 908. We're working out with him. We're trying to get new privet hedge planted there. We're talking about spacing, but mostly I'm waiting for a landscaping guy to come back to me if they're even available right now. So that's the thing before I go back to him. But those are the two things we're working out. Everything else along there has worked out very well. Everybody's receptive to the sidewalk.
I don't think Roselle's ever had a sidewalk.
As you move further east, it does.
Yeah,
But
that from Logan?
Never. No.
I grew up in that neighborhood,
Yeah.
and it was a nightmare. I was like, you took your life in your hands for years.
Yeah, that's why we're putting it there.
Yeah.
And really, it was hard to explain because the guy in the corner there, Logan and Roselle, was asking why we would put curb in now. And I said, well, I usually never put sidewalk in without doing the road program because of elevations. And I told him, I said, we can't do the sidewalk now, or the curbing now, because I'm not doing the road. I gotta reprofile the road to make sure there's no ponding.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be kinda done in an opposite direction, so he was understanding of that. I told him we're gonna try the next couple of years, we should be doing the first section of Roselle. So
Yeah.
they kinda
Yeah.
said okay with that. But he was concerned with somebody still running onto his lawn. I said, the problem I have though is if I put curb in and I cause a puddle, they're gonna hit the ice and go past your lawn and hit your house.
Right.
So he didn't want that, so he's understanding that we're trying and we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I saw the work, it looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're doing a nice job.
Who's got the contract for 22?
Z Brothers,
Yeah.
they're new contractors to
Somebody new.
us, yeah. I have them in Little Silver, they won that job there, they're just about done there. They do nice work, but they're a little methodical and slow because they only have one crew. So when you want to change directions, it's a challenge. And we'd like to change directions a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, because we already have one with Turner, because the sewage authority is really dragging their feet to get the Turner sewer laterals in, and he wanted to do Turner up in the middle of his schedule. I made him push it down to the bottom, so we'll see how that goes. Next item was, I think this is a question from Rob, the sidewalk on Green Grove Road, south of the Rolling Meadows entrances, on that corner there, West Park Avenue and Green Grove Road.
Yeah, that
The
one's
sidewalk to nowhere.
Yeah, right.
That one, we had always talked that we wanted the homeowner, the people to put that in that own the property, that Chris Sisano said that property was just sold. I really don't think we should put sidewalk in there until that development is actually moving forward, because they're just gonna tear that up while they're constructing it.
That's fine.
But also,
So the plan is to connect that.
Rolling Meadows does not have about 800 feet of sidewalk across their frontage either.
Yeah.
So that would have to be something we'd have to, because if they're pushing for that, that's something they're gonna get assessed for.
Right.
We put the other probably 1,500 feet of sidewalk in with the Transportation Trust Fund money when we did Deal Road, our Green Grove
Right,
/ Deal.
right, yes,
So
the
that
other
was
way.
free to them.
Right,
But this would be something they got assessed, and when they found out that, they kind of backed off of the, we want more sidewalk.
right.
So, but that's something we'll have to deal with when that corner gets built.
And you said it's about 800 feet?
It's 800 feet on Rolling Meadows, about 700 feet of the two properties that are there. So it's a total of 1,500 feet that has to be put in.
What
So
do they think?
800 roughly, what would a figure like that be for the sidewalk, roughly? I don't know.
Well, the whole thing would be about 70, so it'd be about 35,000 to do about 800 feet.
About 800 feet.
Yeah,
And then the other 700 is the same thing.
roughly, yeah, about 35. Mostly, the reason it's expensive, because you got the trees, there's some regrading in there. You know, it's a tough spot, so traffic control is gonna be a little costly there.
Right.
What do
That
they
corner-
think's going to go in there?
Don't know.
The street?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was being sold, he did. 'Cause he's
Well,
in
there's
that
been a
industry.
sign up there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought Manna owned it. Was that Manna's? Mike
I don't know who
No,
owned it.
no,
Mark
the
Manna?
corner?
Yeah, no?
No, that was,
Someone else owned
what's
it.
his name owned it? Dina. No,
Janina Dina's dad?
her dad owned it. They just sold it.
So yes, I would imagine somebody's got something in mind for that.
They held it for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, in all actuality, if Rolling Meadows gets assessed that amount of money, it's about $100 a house.
Well,
That's it.
Yeah, I don't think the assessment really bothered them as much as the requirement to maintain it was the problem, like snow clearing. When they found out they had to do that, they were kind of like, oh, yeah, there.
Well, who's doing the first seven? Who's doing the?
They are. They didn't realize when we put that in, they had to do that.
Oh, I do remember that
It's like,
conversation.
if it's your sidewalk, you have to maintain it. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So they weren't too excited about us pushing the second half of that now. But I mean, it's something we should ultimately do, because that sidewalk in the middle, the Green Grove Road on the northern end, on the east side of it, goes to nowhere.
Right.
So when we connect it down to West Park, I mean, West Park continues to the south all the way down, almost past Cold Indian Springs Road and further, almost to Bound and Asbury Avenue, because we switched to the other side there. It isn't on the east side, but it's on the west side, so.
We're off quite a bit of time, but we may want to meet with the president of Rolling Meadows and go over that with him.
Yeah.
I can call Don up and,
Because we can easily throw that in a road program, do that, and get assessed back, and we could put that in
Right.
if they want it in.
right, but I think you're right in wanting to wait until that project is
Yeah.
in the works on the corner.
Yeah, because they would just tear it all up.
Yep.
Be a bad thing. Next item was the traffic light in Poplar and Deal. Those will have left turn lanes for both directions, Roller and Poplar, left turns coming out of there. Rob was questioning if we can try to get that in sooner than later, the light. Generally, the light goes in at the end of the project because they don't put it in until they're gonna benefit from it. And they aren't gonna benefit from that until well after the firehouse is built. So I don't think their plans on putting the lights on, but I'm gonna call them and see if we can expedite the installation of the lights.
That's happening pretty quick, though. I mean, they're already doing sewer work. I mean,
Yeah.
that could happen.
Well, you've probably got at least another year to finish that firehouse.
Okay, that long, huh?
Yeah, they can't start that, because then they gotta demo the other
Right.
firehouse and then start building there. And it's probably a 2-year build out over there, so they're probably looking at 3 years before they're
Huh.
done.
Yeah.
Not as fast as the commercial side of things.
No, no.
Didn't get that Miller's Ale house open.
And for the
Yeah,
record,
there were some financial incentives to get that open, and then some penalties too.
Yeah.
yeah, I heard some crazy numbers. What, just for the record, the Poplar Deal and Roller, somebody called and asked about that because they were concerned about Ocean Commons opening up, and they think that that left-hand turn signal would help, especially people coming off, I don't know how many people are gonna come off 18 to go to Miller's Ale House. So that's kind of what that's how that request
Yeah,
came.
they'll come down Poplar and take the left on
Yeah.
the deal, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, yeah.
Or you take, like we're doing now, you take the circle and you turn in on 35.
Or you make a left turn like Dave was saying.
In the out, yeah, you could do that too.
In
Yeah,
the
I didn't do
library.
that.
If I have to, I'm
I
gonna
went
have
in-
to
Library.
left turn.
There were some complaints that, that there was no other way in, but I took the circle on Saturday and whipped around. and-
Yeah, if you're going eastbound, you take the circle, go to 35 north, it's very easy.
Yeah, it's very
Ah, I
easy.
see.
Yeah, you go right in the entrance.
Right, right, right.
Coming east obviously is a lot easier.
Simple.
A lot easier, but I mean, once once that opens, the flow, I mean, look, we're a little ways off. People have to be patient with the construction going on there right now, and I think that over time, it'll improve. I think definitely going west is gonna improve, especially with the
I think so.
push out lane and everything else. I
I'm pretty sure they're paving that, striping that this week.
Hmm.
think they already started.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
already took out the bolts on 35 at the corner.
Yep.
They've taken out the poles on 35, that's all been
Yep.
paid, now it's just a matter of striping. The light has been put in at Deal and
Yep.
Logan, that's operational, and I'm told they're gonna be ready to open Road B, which is off of that, by the end of this week.
So they were there, the front end loader was doing curbing or something this afternoon, I was
Yeah.
over at the museum, so that looked like it was close to,
Yeah, the only thing that I have a problem with there is the interconnection between the library and the complex. Because that's gonna cause, in my opinion, gonna cause a problem is people, instead of coming out and waiting for the light to turn left, I mean, you're always gonna have that joker that goes all the way through the library's property, makes the right out to the driveway, and tries to turn left beyond the light.
wait, say it again, do what, wait, start over?
The road that, the road as you go in past the library museum to get to the library, that road connects to the,
Yes.
the
Complex.
35 Deal complex,
Correct.
both ways.
Yeah.
So people that are gonna not wanna wait for that light are gonna fly past that and go to the other entrance, which is kinda like the human services entrance I'll call
And make a
it.
left?
And try to make a left instead of waiting for the light to change.
Don't learn, don't ever get out.
Well, that's my worry though, I worry that that's gonna be accidents, so I'm trying to tell them you can't go that way, and they said it was part of the project, I said, but there's no reason to if the light's there.
Right.
Then why would you wanna come from, well, human services, they wanted to go to Miller's Ale House, but you really shouldn't wanna come from the library into the 35 thing, because you can come down Deal, make a right at the light at Logan and get in there.
Correct.
So do you wanna make it one way?
I'm gonna eliminate it,
Oh, you wanna eliminate
The
it?
entrance
Close it up.
between the,
between the interconnection,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I,
Well, you
Let's
better
talk
tell them
about
now.
that.
You better tell them now, because that's what they're doing.
Let's
Well, it's
talk
already
about
there.
that.
It was always there, they
I
connected.
don't know, I think
and
it's
they're
gonna
right
be
now-
a
they're
way
using
that
it for
people will
construction.
know
because they
different
can't
way
get
in
it on
and
a
out.
light.
We'll have to see.
Because
Yeah.
I
it
mandated
was a
the
terrible
blockade,
idea.
the light, because I didn't want people thinking the light was there, so we have
It should
the
be
road
closed.
blockade.
Library should be
I
separate.
think so, too.
Barriers, so the
know
contractors
that.
have to come in that way.
I looked at it.
But once construction's done, and it's gonna be after the townhomes are built, I really think we're gonna have to discuss closing that off.
Okay. Thank
Because
you.
there's no reason for it, I mean, we don't want traffic
It's straight.
flying in front of the library just because they're trying to
Yeah.
get to that.
So there's no advantage for the first aid or anything to go through there, there's nothing.
No.
No.
So what was the design, what was the reason?
Don't know.
Interconnectedness.
Pick your books
like
up
it
and then go hit
probably,
Miller's Ale
Yeah,
House?
or
Probably.
vice versa, go to Miller, I forgot to
Go
put my
read
books up
at
and I
the-
went home.
Get some light reading.
some reading there.
Type of deal?
Yeah, I don't know the reasoning behind it, I mean, I can see from a construction entrance point of view, but it
Yeah.
wasn't, that's,
Yeah.
they think they're gonna leave that open. I've been really already talking with them and telling them. I'm not
I
gonna-
trust your
Yeah.
judgment on that.
Yeah. There's no reason for it, I don't think. You know, other than us internally getting over there, and there's no reason you can't go out and make a right on Deal Road and take a right on Road B and get in there, or go up to Road A and make a right in.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of ways to get in there from Deal Road. I think, yeah. Yeah.
While you're on that topic, Greg, so we were talking, well, Dave brought it up before, so the no left-hand turn sign, no left-hand turn signs going east on Deal to get into the entrance
By Road A.
by Road A.
Those we have to put up, those were not part of their site plan. So that, and it's kind of a confusing sign, because that no left turn, there's nowhere really to put a sign. And you're gonna put, you got a central lane, and there's no left turn's gonna be on the right-hand side of the right lane.
Correct.
And then we're gonna put it in that mountable island out there, no
Right.
left turn. There's already a no left turn that faces Road A, so we're gonna have to put a backside to that, say no left turn in.
I think you're gonna have to put those temporary,
Yeah.
those stakes up, because it's just so tempting.
Mhm.
You're coming down the road, you say, I didn't go around the jug handle, I'll make a quick left in and just, cause everybody to stop for me. Kinda like the post office on West Park, which is like a suicide turn anyway,
Yep,
you know?
yeah, no, I'll talk to the police about that, maybe we can put those barriers
Yeah,
up for now.
I mean,
Because we have 'em.
I do it every day, cause I'm going down Deal Road every single day. Not to Miller's Ale House, but to my office. And it's crazy, because all of a sudden, I'm not used to, now all of a sudden I'm jacking on my brakes because some truck's trying to turn in there.
Mhm.
And,
Oh, no, it's gonna be dangerous until, I'll be honest with you, until the residential's completely done.
yeah.
Because delivery's coming in there, the
Right.
delivery guy's not gonna go to the light at Logan and
Yeah.
make a left up that scissor back turn.
Especially if you have a big truck loaded with stuff,
Yeah.
and that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, another complaint, and I know they're both there, that the right turn only on the right lane, we got two signs, when you come off of 35, the right-hand lane should be right turn only.
Coming
Going
off of
east,
35.
coming on Deal Road east, off of 35, going to Logan, that right-hand lane to make a right on Logan. We got two signs that say right turn only on the right lane, you with me?
No.
We talked about that, where people are cutting in.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, so you mean as you cross 35 going eastbound?
Correct. Or come off 35, yes.
Yeah,
but
35.
Going east.
Well, 35, you're not gonna be able to do that turn anymore. That slip road's gonna be dedicated to the right turn. So you really aren't
No,
gonna
but I'm
turn
going
right
east
left.
now.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you're not, for 35 north, you're not gonna be able to go east at the light on Logan. You're gonna have to take that slip road.
Wait, start what? Say that
If
again?
you're going 35 north
Yeah,
and you're coming to Deal Road, you know how we got the slip road now to make the left also and the right?
yes,
Just the right.
That's gonna be just the right. You're
Right.
not gonna be, you shouldn't really, you're gonna no right turn at the light.
that's fine. I'm good with that. But now I'm on west, on Deal,
Deal going east.
going east. You got the two lanes,
lanes.
go straight
Right.
to Monmouth, you
Uh-huh.
make the right to Logan. There are two signs there. I don't know if you could put three. I don't know if you can
Further
add
up, yeah, so.
from the highway to Logan,
Yeah.
as many as you can
Yeah,
get.
okay,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
that,
my
because
notes.
I don't think it's gonna help, because we
I don't
talked about
either.
that, it's just people who know that
Yeah.
you're supposed to turn right, and they're not local people, and it's
End
just,
up in that
they
lane.
just don't wanna wait in line. So
There's
they're
also-
going down that right lane, and they cut in front of you just because they don't wanna wait in line.
Right.
They know they're not supposed to be in that lane.
The other inherent problem is you come around the jug handle and you're in that lane, you need to get to that left lane. No one's letting you in
That's
there.
true, because they think you're,
First of all, nobody's letting you
Yeah.
in.
Right.
The locals aren't letting you in.
Cutting in.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so it's a real problem. And
Right.
So, I mean, I deal with it every day.
And then
You've gotta keep your head on.
The true problem that I see there traffic-wise is when you have somebody not from the area, the first time they're coming down, they come across Deal Road, or 35 going eastbound, have no idea that those lanes change
that's
to
true.
one direction. And they're stuck because they're not aggressive, they don't try to
Right.
get over, so they stop.
Yeah.
And then
And that
everybody
backs
behind
up.
them is then zipping over around them.
Right.
That's a problem too, but I'll try to, we'll put another one further closer to 35.
There's one right at 35.
Yeah, but we'll put one in the middle, kind of another reminder.
And if we're painting, if we're paving that, right, that's
Well,
funded?
that side of the road, we're not.
Oh, I thought we were. I thought we
No,
saved money
they're
for
only,
that.
I'm trying to talk to them also, but they're kind of hedging back. They're only supposed to pave the center line north of
Right.
Deal Road. I'm trying to get them to do the south side of that. I said, as long as you guys are out there
Yeah.
paving, why don't you pave our side too?
So maybe like arrows on the ground or
Exactly.
something like
Yeah,
that,
they're
there's
there
that
all the
only,
time.
Yeah.
you know, but high up, so
Yeah.
people know.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah,
Yeah.
but that would not hurt, yeah.
Even if they don't pave it, throw it in the striping program and add it for that.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest with you, if they don't pave that, I'm probably gonna pave that next year, because it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wait till they're totally done building 35 for the truck traffic, and then there's the commercial portion's done, and then we'll probably pave that and put it in the next year's road program, so we'll pave next summer, fall. But, I mean, we could probably throw some paint, a couple arrows aren't gonna be that much.
Thank you.
It's dicey over there.
Yeah.
It's worse when you're driving on Deal Road, like by the Krausers, and people are behind you and you watch them
Oh,
come
yeah.
around you and then cut in.
Especially when
So
it's
deep.
backed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
Breeze
People
and
are, the
erosion.
drivers are just crazy these days.
And I'm stuck in the middle at the villas
Mm.
with
Oh, yeah.
the poplar, I can't make a left out of
You
there.
can't make a left. We need an overpass.
I just brought that up at the town.
That's what the
Were you on the
people
call
who
this
are
morning, Dave, when I
over-
brought that up? Were you on the
sorry,
chamber
sorry.
call when I joked about the overpass? Did you make the call after you called me?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because Dave's been asking for an overpass on 35.
Oh.
So I said,
That-
still in the work, just
Good
letting them
luck
know.
with that.
Or a tunnel.
You can't even give
Yeah,
them-
tunnel.
Yeah.
Tunnel
I
actually
like the
works.
tunnel.
Yeah.
The tunnel
That would be
works.
great.
Councilman, DOT is not gonna have that.
No. Dave thinks it.
Every trucker in the place would not be happy about that. Good for the pedestrians.
Yeah.
And then the last thing on my list is Roller Road, the path.
Happened to be right on my list.
That, I don't know if you're aware, but we got a grant from Transportation Trust Fund through Vin Gopal to retrofit that. So that is not gonna get done this summer, because by the time they get all the paperwork done, I have submitted the resolution to them. They're supposed to come back, and give us the formal award. Then we go through the normal the Transportation Trust Fund steps. So it's probably gonna take me at least until September or October to get that through the spec plan writing, them approve it before I can put out the bid phase. So we'll try to get it done this fall.
And what are we gonna do? What is?
We're gonna refurbish that whole walking path between Roller Road and Asbury Avenue.
Roller in Asbury.
Well, Roller to
Sunset.
Sunset, Roller to Sunset. That path that's in there, the bike path,
So there's a rock path, then the
Yeah.
gate, right? That,
Yeah.
just that section right there.
we got a pedestrian grant to
Right.
refurbish that with state money instead of using our money.
Right, okay.
So we were gonna, that was slated for me to do this summer with our own funding. We'll back that out. That's one of the things in the change order, to take that out of the transportation trust, or out of the program to use their money now. That's all I have.
Excellent.
Thanks, Greg.
I had a request about for a speed bump. I don't know if this has ever been brought up, but on Wanamassa Point Road.
Massa Point Road.
Yeah.
How do you go
You
fast on that
can't,
road?
you
with the
can't
condition of the
possibly
road?
go fast.
There's
on that
nobody
road.
going fast. They're going.
If you can go
I
five,
can run
if you
faster.
go 5 miles an hour on Wanamassa
Yeah.
Point, you sure it's that road, not
Yep, between
between
at
what?
18 Wanamassa Point Road and the end of the block. That's where people start to fly, and delivery drivers go the wrong way there constantly.
Because even when you have people parked in the road there, it's
It's
like so
tight.
hard to
So
get.
Too
tight in
tight.
that road.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be tough.
Okay.
I lived there for a couple years. It's tight, real tight. You can't fly on that road
It's pretty.
unless there's no cars on there, but
But then even
Take a
the
drive by,
condition of the road.
Deputy Mayor.
All right.
Best we can do.
Yeah, we'll look
Just
at
got
it,
the
yeah.
request.
Greg, we want to set that meeting up with them also. We just have to find the point person so we can go over the road with them.
Discuss, yeah, okay.
Do we know who that point person is?
I don't know that there's a point, I've talked to 3 different people over there, they don't seem to be associated, they know each other because I've reference that I've talked to so-and-so when I talk to that person, but they all seem to be independent. They don't really seem to want to coagulate into one group, because I don't think all of them agree with what each other want to do. But I think if we reach out to the couple of them and then maybe just have a town hall meeting, we invite everybody here and
Yeah.
say, this is what we want to talk about, your road improvement.
Okay.
That may be the best thing, and who shows up is kind of, I guess, then you gotta decide if you wanna take that as the majority vote or not.
I can reach out to Jim over there, Caplo.
'Cause there's probably not, I would guess off the top of my head, maybe 50 homes in there that we would just have to invite.
Oh, I don't even think it's 50.
I don't even, but yeah, it's the point and all, but yeah, it's.
This is to pull the brick up.
Well, they have to be paid, they haven't ever been paid. And to do cement is just
Oh, you're talking about that
outrageous.
road?
Right.
It's millions of dollars.
Yeah, and the only way to do it is to assess them, or assess the difference between,
Pavement, concrete.
yeah, so I think we meet with them and we go over the
That's-
options.
that's
We have to
kinda
give them
what
some
came up. Yeah, I
options.
think that's the only way you can.
Because the
fairly-
patchwork isn't working anymore.
No.
That's the group that half wants, half doesn't?
No, I've never had a group that come into me, there's, everybody that I've talked to wants it fixed. But nobody has said, people that want it fixed didn't really, a couple of them didn't get into how. Two of them got into, we do not want anything but concrete.
Yeah.
And that's when we talked, because we had a county grant to do a portion of it, and they said, we do not want asphalt, no matter what. So we said, okay. But I think that's the only way to probably put them all,
Yeah.
you know, at least answer the question about how we're gonna get to it. It's like, the only way we can is, we assess you for the difference between asphalt and concrete, and we can do however much, you know, whatever the cost is. We normally put, you know, maybe 150,000 to 200,000 per road in a section, so we could probably do, you know, half the road over there with them getting assessed the difference. But it's gonna be a trip.
I don't think you could do half the road,
No.
not with
Well,
what.
well, 150, you'd probably come in, because if you think asphalt, I could probably do quite a bit. And then it's gonna be quite an assessment on their part. I mean,
Yeah.
millions of dollars would be assessed to, 20 people.
Right.
So I don't think they're gonna go for that. But when we have that town hall meeting, I'll have those numbers of what the difference and what their assessment would be.
Okay,
And that'll probably have that.
then it might be blacktop.
Yeah. Which, it's gonna be a more expensive road to actually reconstruct, because we have to take the concrete out and build up the base and then put all asphalt in. So it's a little more costly, but I think it would solve our problem there forever by doing it that way.
Pull up the concrete.
Yeah.
Can't just do it, huh?
Not in the conditions, it's been so cut up by utility contractors over the last 25 years, it looks like Swiss cheese. It's just
Wow.
all over the place. Yeah,
That looked bad 35 years ago when I lived there.
yeah. It's pretty bad now, it's not good.
Hmm. Any other questions, Rob, you got anything?
No, you got them all.
Marge, you good on that?
Good.
Dave?
Good.
Kelly, anything?
No, thank you.
Hey, thank you, Greg.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Thanks.
David, various township matters.
You didn't do anything.
Only, no, just one for a closed session that we just discussed, the property.
Take care, Greg.
See you later.
Yep.
Anybody have anything other than for Greg? Rob?
I don't know if you know, Mr. Geiger died.
Yeah, about a month ago?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it said.
Wow.
I didn't even know. Somebody just said something in here the other day.
Yeah, so FYI.
Marge? Anything?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, wait, what, is this before closed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go
Can I
ahead.
go back?
Can I go back?
Sorry, I was thinking announcements as
Shoot.
opposed
Yeah,
to
I
questions.
forgot.
Virtual meeting.
I went to reach out and then I spoke to somebody from the Board of Ed, and then it's just been so hectic in the past month, but I have it on my notes.
Okay.
Who
And
did I talk to about it from there?
Mary Ann would be,
I forgot who it
not Mary
was.
Ann,
And they said, oh, it's real simple.
yes.
Yeah.
I asked my wife before I came here, because she
Okay.
goes to every meeting virtually.
Right.
and
I
she
can't
did say
remember
it's
who I
very
spoke
simple.
to.
It's,
It wasn't Becky, it was someone else from there,
from here or from the board?
from the board,
The IT person or the board person?
the board person.
Alex,
Might have been Alex.
Alex Hayes.
She's been pushing.
Do you
That's-
think I should be Alex? Hayes?
No, that's not who you should,
But
if you
I-
want to know, you should actually call the
Well,
IT person.
I'll get you the name. I got a brain freeze. It's the lady we knocked on the door. You and I knocked on her door together. Oh, me and Kelly. No, it was me and Kelly. Sorry, it was me and Kelly. One of the three houses. All right, that was.
Yeah. It's been a
And
while.
naming?
Remember I looked up, there's no,
Nothing.
nothing of
Okay.
any books. I did pull down, and I have it in my office, it's something from the internet on naming
Got it.
buildings and streets and
Okay.
things like that.
And
But
where
there's
did
nothing,
was she checking? And I apologize. Flags? Were we checking on that too, or where do we leave flags? No.
flags, I thought we.
Okay.
we
I don't
weren't doing
remember where
anything
we
with
left
flags.
it. Okay. That's all I got.
I don't think we were.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I don't think we decided to do anything with flags, right?
No, we didn't decide not to do anything.
I don't remember where we left
We
it.
were checking
I'll go back and
into, Matt, were you looking into something with the flags?
Yeah, I sent around a memo, and I think.
To include
David,
certain
wasn't-
language.
Wasn't there a resolution that was adopted, or?
No.
No.
We didn't
No, not
adopt, we
yet.
didn't, not yet.
Not yet.
No,
We kind of came to some agreement with like how it was
We
gonna,
talked about it.
based on the other one that
Yeah,
worked
I
in
just-
California, the one that was like,
So they didn't.
had the language that was
Right.
adopted that made sense,
There's a-
protected us legally.
There's a memo that was sent around, I know.
Yeah, that definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot when Greg was here, but we had talked about the bike racks in Palea Park.
Oh, good one. Mike
Oh,
Sorg.
yeah, we need to talk to him about that, but I'll tell him.
Mike
I
ordered.
think it's a great idea.
Mike ordered it already.
He did?
I think so.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a no-brainer.
I told Tim about it, and he said he was
He's
gonna check with Greg.
fortuitous.
Greg, no, because I happened to be there. Mike goes, "Did you see Marchie's post on Facebook about the bike racks?" And he showed it to me, and he had the Amazon up, and he was ordering them right then and there.
Oh,
Perfect.
So that
I was
was-
gonna get him a capital
whatever day that
budget,
was,
but
Margie, he
if
ordered
he's
them the
got
next
an
day.
operating,
Perfect.
that's great.
You can get a bike rack on Amazon?
Yeah.
Get anything on
Get
Amazon.
anything on Amazon. Yeah, council shirts on Amazon.
I'm gonna order a bike rack for my house.
There you go.
I had no idea.
that's awesome.
All right. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
If I wanna look, so for the potential community garden that we're discussing with the garden club, to look at like the area behind human services, who
Oh,
should
yeah.
I tour that area with and kind of scope it out just as like a potential spot? Who
Human
would
service
be?
area, I would say, I guess Sharon and or Mike.
Sharon or
Or
Mike?
both.
Okay.
That's, and then they can pull in other people's, but it's behind our building, not the library, not the museum, because then you need to talk to Paul.
Paul would be the museum,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
right?
Are you
I
talking
guess
about-
anything close to a water source
Mhm.
with sun.
Got the whole tower.
I
Right?
was saying the same thing. You took my line.
Is it functional?
Retrofitted.
That's true. Okay.
We're here every Thursday night.
Hmm.
Every other.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, some Thursday.
What about next to the butterfly thing that they made at the park? But there's no water on
There's no
there.
water back there.
Yeah. It's near the buildings, but you need
Yeah, just exploring different.
Before we go into close, I have a couple questions, so let me know.
Goodness, Kelly.
a.
Go ahead. Before close, Cal?
Yeah, before close.
Yeah, we can do it now.
Skip right over.
Okay.
I thought you were.
What
No,
is our
Dave,
intention with regards to, I forget the woman's name, who pushed back on the assessment that was done by True Green Lawns on the plant?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah. Are we gonna have another, I didn't read the whole thing,
It
but
was
It sounded like she was getting an
The
independent
hemlock
study
issue?
done by some
Yeah.
folks at
Yeah,
Rutgers,
I'm
but I
just
didn't
on
know
my
what our
follow-up for
plan was
tomorrow
going to
this
be.
morning. I just read the email just right now.
it's on the follow-up for Dave for
That's
tomorrow.
kinda why I was distracted when you was asking me the other question.
Okay, awesome. The other question I had is the gentleman that came to speak with us about fire pits was not supportive of our response. Is there any additional recourse that we can offer, or is our initial position firm?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna eliminate the firewood, I don't think we can restrict, well, his request was to eliminate
Fire.
wood-burning fires throughout the town. I don't think that's an option. So, I mean, he specifically said, so please help me understand what I and others who cannot tolerate wood smoke from fire pits are expected to do when neighbors burn their fires. I mean, can they talk to their neighbors? I mean, I don't think we
I
have,
think he tried to talk,
Yeah,
he
he
attempted
did.
and they were,
to get them to tone it down, or, you know, it's a very, very difficult, it's very difficult because it's
it's hard to enforce.
it's a polarizing issue, because yes, you've got, me personally, I'm not a big one to sit by a fire pit like that. I just don't like, I get his point, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you've got to look at everybody else's point that has these fire pits. I mean, I don't like to sit around the fire pit and stink when I'm done either. I totally understand what he's saying, but you've got to look at the people that have the fire pits, and this is it's a tough one.
It's kind of like leading into what I wanted to make sure we put on our radar, and that was my request for a public affairs officer to start handling our responses to citizen issues, as well as our social media content, because right now it's very ad hoc and it's kind of frustrating.
Yes.
I mean, I'm wondering, should we get the fire, that whole crew that we had 2 years ago, get that meeting together again with this couple to explain, you know, what, you know, how it's, that's a big, so we did that
Yeah.
2 years
Yeah.
ago, and
With
it was,
Mr. Sharp.
yeah.
Yep. It didn't go well.
You relocating?
Come on over here, man.
You get a little annoyed by the cord, you know? Couldn't maneuver around.
Cord was messing with you, huh?
It's a good
My,
side room right
whatever,
here.
my opinion, whatever Dave wants to do, however he wants to handle it. I agree with John though.
Well,
it's
it's
touchy.
really, it's a governing body thing here with this. I mean, we have to be the ones making the decision, and Dave, obviously, whatever way we go, has to be the enforcer, the hammer. So, I mean,
Does any other town have a ban on fire pits?
Nope.
Does any other
I'm gonna
town?
guess there is one town.
I'm sure. Is there any other
Somewhere.
town in Monmouth
Oh,
County
I-
that has regulations regarding fire pits?
I did a Google search on this on the first time we dealt with this. The only thing that comes up is Jersey City, because of the proximity of the houses
Yeah,
right
I mean,
on top
and that
of each
makes
other.
sense.
And it's not
Yeah.
a smoke, it's more of a fire burning
Yeah.
your house
Right.
down.
I get it. Jersey City's not Ocean
Right.
Township, so, you know, anybody who's a comparable place to Ocean Township, anybody have any
Right.
regulations regarding this?
Isn't there one in like LBI too? I feel like I saw
Yeah,
fire pit. I
The
mean,
problem with these fire pits is-
but again, the language was, I'll have to look it up. It was just very,
I don't mean to be misinterpreting what my
Here it
intent
is,
is.
I
I have
found
no
it.
problem with our decision. I think, you know, the needs of the many outweigh the one complaint. I just think we have to be consistent in our messaging and ensure that we close the loop with him, since he did come back to us about it.
so let's have, I would say let's have that meeting again with the fire marshals. I mean,
that's a good idea.
you know,
To meet
to
with the
bring,
fire marshals and
yeah.
I just don't,
I mean,
I
they're-
don't see there being any
Yeah,
resolution.
they
But
were
that
not-
was kind of what the,
Yeah.
you know, but they addressed the
I think you're
issues
gonna get the
pretty.
same thing from them.
The
I-
fire
I mean,
marshal's gonna
the-
say, if
yeah.
it's out of control, we can bring the fire truck to put it out. That's the end of it. It's just, if it's a nuisance, it's a nuisance. you
he
know?
had, look, he had,
They don't have any
think you're right.
enforcement mechanism either.
he
had
they
a,
didn't want to do it.
No, they took this, somebody along the way, the legislature took it out.
I thought-
about,
Because there was a point back in the day where it said that if it was hazardous to one's health,
Yeah, this is,
that was removed at some point.
yeah, right. It was removed because it was unenforceable, or was difficult to,
You just have to
I'm-
call- you
it
have
was
to call the
too
police.
subjective, I think. It was just, but this is in LBI. I don't know if it was actually passed, but there was an article about it in Long Beach Island Surf City. They were going to say, like, all permitted outdoor fires shall be maintained in a manner that ensures any smoke and embers arising therefrom do not interfere with the air quality, peace, and quiet enjoyment of neighboring residents, the ordinance states. I don't know if that was actually passed, but it was a proposed one that
Well,
was.
that one is actually kind of what the township has also.
well, let me ask you this with a fire pit.
Wait, we don't have we don't have an ordinance for fires. That's what
You-
Tracy
you-
said.
It's not fire pits. I mean,
Fire pits.
It's kind of like,
It's outdoor fire.
it's outdoor fires.
I thought we didn't have one. I asked Tracy to gave it to me, and she said we don't have one.
I think she was talking about fire pits.
Yeah, that might be germane to fire pit we don't have, but fires. Now, let me ask you this with just to try to come up with some solution here. Now, obviously, having people have their fire pits turned to gas isn't gonna happen, everybody. And this is what we should have asked him, and we can find this out, was there more of a problem with the fire pit when it's windy and it's blowing, or is it all the time when the fire, I mean, because I can't, if the fire pit is lit and it's not windy, is there a problem? That's my
I think
question.
the answer was yes. I think
Even when there's no wind?
that they just, the wind shifts, it comes in, they've got respiratory issues. I mean, you can go on and on. The problem is these things are passe. You get one, you use it for a while, and then you stop using it. But then you get that one guy who says, I'm gonna burn a fire pit every single day of my life. He's getting cords of wood delivered, and that's your neighbor.
Your neighbor just had a cord
Yeah,
delivered.
now I gotta smell that all day
That's
long.
right. Oh, I should say our neighbor, but you're gonna smell it before me.
It'll be passe too.
I agree with you that they do die out, but it does. His sounds like there's like an everyday thing.
And it stinks because he went to the neighbor and said, hey, can you do me a favor? And then, of course, the neighbors get nasty. That's the part that stinks.
Literally.
You gotta live next to these people, I just don't see a solution.
Well, if we brainstorm with I don't see a solution either. But if
You
somebody
brainstorm
comes,
with the fire marshals? They do.
yeah, meet with fire marshals. Let's see what they say.
I
So
mean,
you want the meeting?
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, inherently, when the wood is wet, it's the worst. Then you get these smoking.
It doesn't have to be Dave. It doesn't have to be all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
whoever wants to.
Can't be all of you,
Yeah.
unless they come
Unless
here.
unless they come here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Do you
saw,
want them to come here?
No.
Tracy did put something out on the website.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, that was
Which is
the last
good
directive you
information.
guys
Yes.
gave me, so we put that out there.
Yep.
I just think those things come and go. You get excited about it, and then you're like, it stinks.
Apparently not for this
Well,
guy's
that's it. You
neighbor.
get the one dude.
So
I'm
who-
sure during COVID, people were burning these things all day long because it got you outside, and now.
So which two governing body members wants to?
Who wants to be on the fire committee?
There you go.
I'll be there. I'll go.
We got one taker.
What's the fire
Kelly, you want to go? Come
Kelly,
to the
you're on-
meeting?
Kelly, you're on the fire committee.
Yeah, I have no problem. I
There you
mean,
go.
I think what I heard Matt say sounds like the most logical. It's the quiet enjoyment. When somebody is doing something that ruins somebody else's quiet enjoyment, we have an ordinance for that now. Do we expand it from fire to fire pit, or we hang our hat on that language we already have in fires in general?
Yeah, the
That's
language
good.
the
You know, then
language
we
the
should-
language I read, Kelly, was from LBI, not from ours.
So, you want to hear ours?
Yes.
It is hereby declared that pollution of the atmosphere by smoke, cinders, soot, fly ash, gases, fumes, vapors, odors, dust, and other contaminants is a menace to the health, welfare, and comfort of the residents of the Township of Ocean and a cause of substantial damage to property for the purpose of controlling and reducing atmospheric pollution. It is hereby declared to be the policy of the Township Council to minimize air pollution as herein defined and to prohibit excessive emission of the same, to establish standards governing the installation, maintenance, and operation of equipment and apparatuses relating to the combustion in which a potential source of air pollution, and another further run-on sentence, and furtherance to the purpose of cooperate, blah, 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 blah. So we say it's a menace.
So if it's a menace, then
And the definition for the record, open burning, any fire wherein the products of combustion are emitted into the open air and are not directed thereto through a stack or chimney. So that would apply.
Yes, and the smoke is not supposed to be darker than the number 2 on the Ringelmann smoke chart. So,
Correct. And
that's what I was.
What is prohibited, no person shall cause, allow, or permit open burning of refuse. Not that one.
so has this gentleman called like the fire marshal to come out and
I don't think they're coming out.
I don't know if they
I
went
don't-
that far.
they're not going to come out?
I don't
Not
think
sure.
they
Not for a fire pit.
No.
Unless they're burning something illegal in there, that's the only way to stop it. From
But who's
my
going to come
understanding.
out to measure whether the fire's darker?
The Ringelmann chart.
Yeah,
Who has
that's
the
why
regular
that's what I'm getting at.
Well, that
Like,
would have to be fire department, fire
Code.
marshal, somebody.
Yeah, somebody.
yeah. So I mean,
Code would be experienced.
I don't even know.
I'm just
I
who
think
would
the
so
fire
his
marshal
yeah. So I
has an
think
idea.
his question
Send
is
that
like,
to
who
me.
do I like? What do I do if, like, you know? I mean, can he call?
I would
Yeah.
say fire marshal, fire department, one of those two.
Yeah.
But let me do deeper dive and let me talk to one of the fire marshals, see who
If
can
that's
come or both to
unreasonable.
the meeting
Okay.
and resolve.
He's in Wayside, if it matters.
Okay. I think the other.
It does matter.
That's true. he was in, but the first complaint
Fine.
was in.
Oakhurst.
Oakhurst.
So I'll bring them both in. Equal opportunity.
One guy's down at court, isn't
This guy?
he? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not Wayside. It's over off of
He's in
Wicked.
West Elmhurst.
Yeah.
That's West Elmhurst.
Near Millwood.
Yeah, but that's District 2.
He's in front of Judith Court.
Yeah,
So it's the Judith Court that's lighting the fire. He's literally,
big fire pits in Judith Court.
No, but it's District 2 either way, I think.
Yeah, it's not, it's one of Massey, you're saying?
Yeah, it's not
Not
the
one,
Oakhurst.
I was telling it.
It's
Yeah, it's one of
Wanamass,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
I assume. I'm not a fire guy.
I have two more things, and then I promise I'll stop.
Now you're on a
It's
roll.
okay.
Keep going.
And it also just goes back to responding to citizens that reach out, particularly the gentleman who works the polling stations, and he was throwing out the cost to the town and have we considered or should we consider. I'm not advocating moving it to November, but I do not believe I've seen a response to him other than a thank you, for your interest. So I do think as a committee we need to close that issue one way or the other publicly.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger discussion that we should have. Pros and cons, I think, to each.
yeah, I did respond to him that we would
Discuss
discuss it.
Yes, I'm saying these things just to keep
Yep.
them on the radar. I'm
Yep.
writing notes.
Can
And the
I-
last
hold on,
was-
Cal, hold on that one. So I agree, we probably should have a longer term or
Mhm.
deeper dive on, I mean, that gets into whole structure and statutes and government.
Form of
function.
government.
But in the meantime,
Or whatever.
if I may ask,
Mm-hmm.
given, so the whole, no disrespect and congratulations on your primary win, but when we have uncontested freaking primaries, it's costing
A fortune.
millions of dollars for the county to run a freaking primary when respectfully, we both knew what sides were gonna win and who was gonna win.
But
That's
Now-
true, but you don't know, that's fine, but you don't know if there's gonna, like, for certain elections, there might be write-ins, there might be people who, and that might be an important.
I get it. So
Democracy, baby.
Yeah.
It's a balancing act. Having said that, back to our local elections. So I get if we decide that we want to have continue to have them in May or off November election. You and I had this conversation. So each polling district has 2 machines. So do the math. Some of the districts don't need 2 machines, period. I know what you're going to say. Hold on. Hear me out. So the argument of having a spare machine in the polling location as opposed to having 2 machines in each district, because how many broke down this year? Right. So why are we paying 4 poll workers in each district when there's nobody waiting in line for 2?
These are questions, I think, for the county, because we
Well-
don't have.
But they're not gonna change it unless because we gotta pay for that. That's $50,000.
Do we?
Yeah, I reached
have
out,
say in that?
I reached out to Chris before
We
this.
don't have any say in.
We don't have any
who
say. I reached
We
out,
can argue the fact.
I reached out to Chris to see if.
They do it. There were 2 in Interlaken
Mhm.
when I was served there.
Yeah.
And that town had 750 registered voters. They had 2 vote, same, it's dictated by the
Yeah,
county.
it's totally dictated by the county. I reached out to Chris to see, remember we were talking about how often the ballots were picked up?
It's a law.
Every
It's
other
a
day
law,
for
right?
our
I'm pretty-
local election. I said, well, can't you, we can save some money, pick them up every 4 days? And he said, it's not even up to me, it's up to somebody higher up in the
It's a
county.
law,
I'm
right?
pretty
Like,
sure
it's
it's a
a
state.
it's a
Yeah.
state,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it's a state requirement.
On the
It's-
machines?
Yeah.
Number of machines per district.
It's way above
Yeah.
what we can.
Just trying to save some money. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
tried.
Rob, nobody's
I tried.
disagreeing with
That-
that.
that-
It's just
Rob,
something
especially
that-
with the primary, when 30 people voted in one district, you're right, it's
There were
crazy,
more
but
people working
Right.
at the
Yeah.
polls
Yeah.
than there were voters.
they were hanging around
It's
doing nothing when I went over to
crazy.
the Greek Orthodox. It was,
Even if the election was moved, like the old Board of Ed election was 3 to 9 instead
oh
of all day.
yeah, that's right.
And there was early voting in certain places, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been another 30,000 for the municipal election if we had early voting. 33.
No, there's even early voting for the primary.
Yeah.
In certain places. I don't know where. not
It was,
here.
yeah, it was in
Oh,
Monmouth County.
Oh, no, but
No,
I
there
did
was
not,
no
Ocean
No.
Township.
But they could, we
Certain
could have
towns have
gone
it. Yeah.
to those locations, which is ridiculous.
What was the ruling on the early voting? Did they disclose the results before the?
No.
No, so they don't, it's just part of the,
They're just counted.
Just
the same
counted.
day.
Yeah.
We got about 2 minutes before close. Anybody else have anything?
Kelly, you
you
had
got
one more,
anything
I
else?
cut you off.
No, that's fine. I was done. Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
All right. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth as follows. The public shall be excluded from the discussion of and action hereupon specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Litigation, various matters, litigation, various properties, personnel, various departments. Motion to approve.
Aye.
Second.
Second.
Oh.
Roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, just want to remind everybody that all council meetings will be audio and videotaped. They will be shown on our Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22, Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. Roll call, please.
Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Donlin?
Here?
Councilmember Achara?
Here?
Fisher?
here.
No calling for...
No, she's
Okay.
not.
Please stand for a pledge of allegiance and remain standing while we do a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. You may be seated. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied, and a copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk on December 8th, 2022. There are 2 emergency exits on the wall to my right that will take you to the front of the building, and another one to my left that will take you to the rear parking lot. Please make sure all cell phones are turned off, and if you need to make a call, kindly step outside of the meeting room. Before we begin with our proclamation, I'm going to authorize that the 2023 budget be read by title. For the resolution, do you have it?
I just had to read that.
Okay. Local budget of the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth for the fiscal year 2023. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing on the
No,
20...
This is just opening the budget.
Okay. We're going to do this first.
So
Okay, roll call.
offer.
Someone offer.
Resolution to be
I'll
read.
Resolution.
I'll move.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Oh, Donlin?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes.
And now to open the public hearing.
Okay.
Motion to open.
Motion to open the public hearing on the 2023 municipal budget. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes. If anybody would like to be heard on the municipal budget, any questions, comments, concerns, please step to the microphone. This is just in regard to the budget only. Seeing here none, do I have a motion to close public hearing on the municipal budget for 2023?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on the budget for 2023.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes. And do I have someone make a motion to adopt the 2023 municipal budget?
I'll make a motion to adopt the 2023 municipal budget.
Second.
Second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Napolitani?
Yes.
Great job, Rick.
Yeah, Rick, no questions either. Not bad.
You want to come to all our meetings.
Thank you, Ricky. Great job this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Before I read the proclamations that we have, let me just go around for council comments. We're going to start with Deputy Mayor Donlin.
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone that this weekend is the clean sweep that was rescheduled from last month. It is on June 10th from 10 to 2, meeting in the Oakhurst Fireman's Field meeting room. There's also a senior health and resource fair next Thursday, June 15th, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the West Park Recreation Center. And later on, the first of the month, for the 4th of July fireworks, they're going to actually be on July 1st. So just to put that on your calendar in Palea Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Fisher.
Yes, I'd like to remind all the residents of Ocean Township that the summer season is upon us, and I would like everyone to pay particular attention to the traffic and all the pedestrians that are walking around. We have a lot more volume on our streets, and I want everybody to be very careful because the safety is the most important thing. I also want to remind the residents that the e-bikes seem to be the biggest trend right now. And unfortunately, they go pretty quickly, and you don't see them in your blind spot. So I asked the operators of the e-bikes to look around, and I asked the drivers to look around too, because they can be very dangerous. So keep in mind that we have a lot of pedestrians. The speed limits are going to be enforced, but I think everybody has to drive in a very cognizant way, and I'd like to see some courtesy out there. So welcome to summer 2023, and be safe.
Thank you. Councilman Achara.
3 things, if I may. I think I speak for the council in sending my condolences to the Geiger family. Don Geiger passed away about a month ago. He was a fixture here for many, many years, challenging the town manager for budget questions. We always look forward to his creativity on how he could ask a question on what we were spending, but our condolences go out to him and his family. And this is for Alyssa and Nancy. Shout out to the two of you. Also, next Tuesday, the Chamber of Commerce has their annual Consumer and Business Expo. It is Tuesday the 13th from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. It's at Jumping Brook Country Club. It's free and open to the public. There are probably a handful of spots left. If you're a vendor, food or otherwise, and you are interested in going, you can reach out to the Chamber of Commerce office and speak to Regina. Also, advance notice, the Chamber golf outing is going to be on 9/11 this year, September the 11th. We are doing it in honor of our fallen heroes, and any heroes for that matter, and first responders. More to follow on that.
Thank you. Dave.
Thanks, Mayor. I just quickly want to echo what the governing body said and thank our CFO, all the department heads, and everyone that was involved with the budget. Job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Matt?
Nothing for me.
Nothing. All right. I have a couple of proclamations that I need to just go over very quickly. We have National Donate Life Month, which was in April. That was in regard to the New Jersey Sharing Network, just raising awareness for people to donate, at the time of their demise. These, when you make these donations, they really help, somebody else's life. This is close to me because my wife is involved in a company where they really rely on tissue donors, and she gave me the awareness of National Donate for Life Month. So April was National Donate to Life Month. So thank you, Michelle, for bringing this to my attention. The next one we have is Mental Health Month, which was May. We were able to do a proclamation, and they will hang this up in the Women's Club. And I'm going to read this real quick. Mental health, because it's pretty important, and like I had mentioned to a few people, this one, and I don't shy away from it. Mental Health Month is important. I did have a brother who had a serious mental illness and took his life, and this does hit me pretty close to home, so I'd like to read this proclamation. Whereas mental health is defined as emotional and psychological well-being which allows individuals to work, enjoy satisfying relationships, and participate fully in their committees. And whereas approximately 25% of people experience a diagnosable mental health condition in their lifetime, and whereas mental illness accounts for 4 of the top 10 leading causes of a disability. And whereas studies show that mental health is a significant component of physical health, and whereas studies have shown that every dollar invested in evidence-based treatment yields $2 to $10 in savings from lost productivity, as well as health, criminal justice, and other costs. And whereas when offered adequate services, wellness and recovery are possible for all who live with mental illness. And whereas mental health awareness, prevention, and education encourage individuals to seek profession and or social support. And whereas the Women's Club of Asbury Park, a member of the New Jersey State Federation of the Women's Clubs, and the National Alliance of Mental Illness of New Jersey are working together to raise awareness about the importance of mental health and to advance treatment opportunities for individuals with mental illness. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the governing body of the Township of Ocean that May 2023 be declared as Mental Health Month. It's an extremely important thing to be aware, and there are a lot of people that suffer from mental illness, so we just wanted to raise the awareness. Gentlemen, if you could sign that as well. And finally, we have national, what do we have? One more? No, I have one more from Senator Vin Gopal. This is a citation for commendations and praise are extended to the Township of Ocean by the citizenry of the 11th New Jersey Legislative District through their elected representatives for their Memorial Day ceremony, which was held at the Veterans Monument, which was another fantastic presentation that we did on Memorial Day for our veterans, and we want to thank Senator Gopal for giving us this citation. The purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on the agenda and is not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. So if anybody has any comments germane to only the agenda items tonight, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes to speak, or 5. What do we have, 3 or 4? 3 minutes.
We're feeling lucky tonight.
Is the budget on a specific?
Could you just state your name and address for the record?
Jim Bay, David Street. Is this on?
Yes, should be. Is that on?
Oh,
Tap it.
it might be turned.
Stay there. I got it.
You probably turn it on yourself.
What's this thing?
There's a button right in the,
Mm-hmm.
it should turn green.
Hello.
You have to hold it for a minute.
After it turns green.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Rob used to be a roadie.
Regarding the ordinance on the salaries, I put in an open public records request. And
Thanks, Jim.
this is a set of notes on the open public request. And that ordinance was 2426.
So in 2024, if this is still on, I don't know if it's on or not.
It is.
The previous salaries are listed on one side, which is the 22 annual salary total all departments. And on the other side is the 2024 ordinance 2426. Now, I only changed about a half a dozen of those from the 22 to an estimate for 24 this afternoon because I read through what you changed for your new salaries. So I didn't change them all, I only changed a dozen or so you get a spirit or a feel for what would occur. And in 2024, it looks like a lot of the salaries are well over 300,000. And if you could take a look at the CFO, you had put in a previous resolution that was going to have $120,000 share of services. I don't recall the name of the town. It might have been Piscataway.
Plainfield.
Plainfield. If you, and I don't know what the terms of that are, but if he gets the lion's share of the $120,000, in the back of your mind,
you're in the ballpark of just shy of $400,000 floating into the CFO. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on what the playing field is, but it really doesn't matter what portion of that goes to the CFO. I just wanted you to have a concept of what your salaries and benefits ordinance 24-26 actually means. And these are the kind of numbers, if you look at what I redacted, on the Oprah request, you'd given me the 3 mil for pension, 2 mils for PFRS, 1 mil for PERS, 14 mil for base, cash 16 mil, etc. When you add those things together, those are the kind of numbers you're floating around with the people, just so that you understand. I don't know if you really understand how quickly these numbers add up when you include the 30% pension. And I just wanted you to just have a concept of how these numbers work out. Not asking you to do anything, just understand these numbers. When you add a 30% pension, you add an 11% pension for the CFO, because he's in a different pension system. These are the kind of numbers you're working with. If we could deal with the golf utility. Is in the budget, and I'm requesting you consider changing the budget to modify the golf utility.
Thank you.
Or not change the budget to modify the golf utility. The golf utility does not include the previous $1.5 million that was spent. There was $850,000 that was spent on the original purchase of the adult daycare center restaurant, and another 600 grand was spent tearing down 5,000 square feet of the 9,000 square foot building, and that's not listed in the golf utility. So if you could respectfully move an additional 1.5 million into the golf utility budget, you currently have bonded for 1.5. That's in your budget. If you could move an additional 1.5 into that golf utility, because that's what those buildings cost, for a total of $3 million for the golf utility, it would have a respectful, somewhat rational budget. David Brown, on the 26th of April, you emailed
Jim, time's up.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for your information.
And I appreciate the 26th, you gave me an email, and that's very thoughtful of you to respond to me, and I'll get back with you. And also on an open Oprah, appreciate that, and we're good.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Ms. Jim.
Anyone else wishing to be heard on the agenda items only? Seeing here none. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda, resolutions 111 through 128? No, not 128.
110.
120. 120.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Vouchers in the amount of $10,377,573.99. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 121, authorize the Township of Ocean to conduct the annual budget review in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey NJSA 40A:4-78B. Someone offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 122, authorizing the execution of an agreement with Megan Ann Bennett of Dilworth Paxson LLP as bond counsel for the Township of Ocean. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 123, authorize the refund of tax overpayments to the following. Block 121, Lot 5, in the amount of $2,978.51. Block 152, Lot 1.01, QC 2304, in the amount of $3,715.98. Block 152, Lot 1.01, Q3102, in the amount of $1,303.60. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 124, authorize the extension of the installment plan for the property owners who have not remitted their installment for the special assessment as confirmed November 10th, 2022. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 125, authorize change orders for the following. 2020 Road Improvement Program, change order number 4, a decrease of $50,160.11. And for the 2021 Roadway Improvement Program, change order number 1, a decrease of $41.94. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 126, authorize the continuation of the interlocal services agreement between the Township of Ocean and the Township of Ocean Board of Education for custodial, landscaping, and recycling services for the 3-year period from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 127, authorize a shared services agreement between the Township of Ocean and the Township of Board of Education for Class 3 Special Law Enforcement Officers for the period July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 128, authorize a contract with Taylor's Towing, doing business as D&J Towing and Recovery, Inc., for towing services for the 2-year period beginning July 1st, 2023 through June 3rd, 2025. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinances for introduction. Ordinance 2423, which is an ordinance establishing Chapter 29 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled the Community Project Labor Agreements Act. Someone please introduce Ordinance 2423.
I'd like to move to introduce ordinance 2423.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, and that will have its public hearing on the 22nd of June this month. Ordinance 2424, which is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 16 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Parks and Playgrounds. Someone please introduce Ordinance 2424.
I'd like to move to introduce ordinance 2424.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, that ordinance will also have its public hearing on June 22nd. Ordinance 2425, which is an ordinance authorizing the enforcement of Subtitle 1, Title 39 of the Revised Statutes of the State of New Jersey to be applied to the property owned by West Park 35 Developers, LLC, 2105-2107, Highway 35, and 777 West Park Avenue, Block 3, Lots 13 to 15, 16.02, in the Township of Ocean, and amending and supplementing Chapter 12 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Traffic. Someone introduce Ordinance 2425.
I'd like to move to introduce ordinance 2425.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. That too will have its public hearing on June 22nd. And finally, Ordinance 2426, which is an ordinance amending Ordinance 2338, entitled an ordinance fixing salaries and compensation of certain offices, positions, and employees in the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, and the State of New Jersey. Someone please offer.
I'd like to move to introduce ordinance 2426.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes, and that ordinance will also have its adoption on June 22nd. Now, we will open it up for public comment on anything germane to the Township of Ocean. Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Ken Laposa, 25 Boxwood in Cedar Village. A couple things. On Deal Road, at any given time, although there's a sidewalk on one side, it seems like there's a lot of citizens that would rather use the street, sometimes with baby carriages and stuff like that. Is there anything that the police department can kind of do to enforce that? Because being a two-lane road, it can get a little tight, especially on certain days, certain times, you know. And don't want to hurt anybody, don't want to hit anybody, but since there is a sidewalk on the opposite side, it would make it convenient.
Any particular section that you're noticing this?
No, I would say that's a good part of
East
Deal
of
Road.
east of 35 or west?
It's east of 35.
East of 35?
Yeah.
Dave, we can talk to the chief about that.
Yeah, and it's not all the time, but you know, you're going down there and the speed limit is like, I think 35 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour.
No.
And while that's not fast, you get kids walking down there with a mom with a stroller and all that. You don't want to hurt anybody.
Okay.
Second thing, lantern flies. Does the township have anything that they're planning on lantern flies?
We have not yet.
Okay, because you know, it could certainly destroy the trees. And here we have fines for people taking down a tree, but yet a lantern flies could take down several.
Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but we did check with the county and they're not doing anything either at this point.
Nor is the state.
Yep. So
So we are not going to take any lead on it, even though the county is.
the problem is if we take the lead on that, you've got other municipalities that are not taking any lead.
Well,
So
I understand. You know, I mean, then I guess you want to extend it. You can say the whole state or a state beyond that. I mean, it's got to start somewhere.
right. Well, it's something we can consider for sure, Ken.
Okay. So you probably have some sort of information by next meeting.
What do you mean information?
If-
I'll turn that over to the township manager. Well, in all honesty, the problem is I don't think there is a resolution. So, Ken, if you have a resolution,
No, yeah,
help me out here.
I'm not a scientist. Okay?
yeah. No, that's I'm being facetious, but I'm serious though. There's no resolution
But we certainly
to the
have,
problem,
We certainly have
Other
something
than-
for the deer. So
and that's a
Thank
whole
you.
nother story.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Hello, Jim Bay again, not on ordinances. And I'd like to thank Dave Brown on the 26 you were going to get back with me on some questions. Thank you very much for the courtesy of the response. And Jesse on shade tree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Jim, I'll follow up with the CFO for you.
There's no rush.
Okay.
Whatever vacations, etc.
Thank you.
You just missed him.
Yeah.
Anyone else wishing to be heard? Seeing here none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Hold on, these guys look like they might want to say
Yeah.
something. Come on, here's your chance.
Do you have to get up and speak for the class? Really?
No? Sure?
You get on record.
What class are you in? Mass media? The high school? Who's the teacher? You like him? Good. What are you learning? What are you here for? You know you're being recorded and Mr. Woolley's going to see this. Okay.
You want to come to the microphone and talk now? We'll talk to you after if you want. Do I have a motion to adjourn so we can get to these
So
young
moved.
men over here? Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Thank you. You have a great evening. Boys, we're here if you want to talk to any of us.
Have a good night, Chip.